Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm pleased to welcome you to this presentation. Today, we will be discussing the recall procedure after market complaint as per current regulatory norms. I'll walk you through the key steps and guidelines you need to know. Over the next few slides, we'll cover the process in detail, ensuring everyone is clear on the procedures to follow. Let's get started. Today, I want to talk about the main purpose of the recall procedure. First, it's all about protecting patient safety. We do this by removing any defective or unsafe products from the market as quickly as possible. Ensuring patient safety is our top priority. Next, it's crucial that we stay compliant with good manufacturing practices, or GMP, good distribution practices, GDP, and all relevant regulatory requirements. This helps us maintain high standards and avoid regulatory issues. We also need to define a systematic, rapid, and controlled recall process. Having a clear and organized plan allows us to act swiftly and efficiently when a product issue arises, minimizing risks. Finally, the recall process isn't just about fixing issues once they occur. It's about preventing them from happening again. That's why we incorporate robust corrective and preventive actions, or CAPA, to address root causes and improve our processes continuously. All of these points together form the core purpose of our recall procedure: protecting patients, ensuring compliance, acting quickly, and preventing future problems. So, what actually triggers a recall? Well, there are several key indicators that something's not right with a product. For example, if there's a market complaint indicating a safety or quality risk, that's a major red flag. Similarly, if an adverse event or a product defect is reported, it signals that the product may not be performing as expected or could be harmful. Another important trigger is a quality control failure detected after dispatch. That means something went wrong during manufacturing or packaging that wasn't caught earlier, but now has come to light. Mislabeling, mix-ups, or packaging discrepancies are also critical issues. These can lead to serious safety concerns or consumer confusion. Then we have stability failures, whether ongoing or accelerated, which can compromise the product's effectiveness or safety over time. Counterfeit products reported on the market are another alarming trigger, as they can pose significant health risks. Lastly, regulatory authorities might issue a directive for a recall if they identify any issues. All of these factors, whether reported by consumers, detected internally, or mandated by authorities, are what can initiate a recall process. Recognizing these triggers early is essential to ensure consumer safety and maintain trust. Let's talk about the different classes of recalls and what they really mean in terms of urgency and response. First, Class I recalls involve a serious health hazard or even death that is likely to occur. These are the most urgent and require immediate action. Next, we have Class II recalls, which deal with temporary or medically reversible health issues. While serious, they are less immediately dangerous than Class I. Then there are Class III recalls, which are considered low risk, meaning the defect is unlikely to cause harm at all. Understanding these classifications is crucial because they guide how quickly we need to act, the depth of investigation, how we communicate with the public, and how we report to authorities. Whether we're following FDA standards or global standards, the classification determines our response and helps ensure we handle recalls effectively and responsibly. This framework is key to protecting consumers and maintaining trust in our products. Now, let's discuss how we evaluate complaints through our QA, QC, and medical affairs teams. This process begins with a thorough assessment of each complaint to determine its potential impact on patient safety and product quality. We then perform a detailed health hazard evaluation, or HHE, to understand the severity and scope of the issue. Based on this evaluation, we categorize the risk and make an informed decision about whether a product recall is necessary. Once the decision is made, it's crucial to notify the relevant parties promptly. This includes regulatory authorities, who need to be kept in the loop for compliance reasons, as well as our distributors, wholesalers, and of course, the customers, hospitals, and pharmacies that rely on our products. Simultaneously, we activate our recall team, which comprises key members from QA, regulatory, warehouse, supply chain, and production. Their coordinated effort ensures that the recall process is executed swiftly and effectively. Finally, the recall decision is officially made and initiated. This structured approach helps us protect patient safety, maintain regulatory compliance, and uphold our commitment to quality. Now, let's take a moment to recall the key team roles and responsibilities involved in a recall process. First, the QA head acts as the overall recall coordinator and is the main point of contact for authority communications. They oversee the entire process to ensure it runs smoothly. Next, the regulatory affairs team is responsible for notifying regulatory bodies and submitting all required recall reports. This is critical for compliance and transparency. Then we have warehouse and logistics, who handle traceability, segregation, and the collection of returned products. Their work ensures that the affected items are properly tracked and contained. The quality control team plays a vital role in retesting and confirming defects, as well as supporting investigations to identify root causes. Production teams are focused on conducting root cause analysis and implementing measures for future prevention, which helps avoid recurrence. Medical affairs assess the risks associated with the product issue and communicate effectively with patients to ensure their safety and well-being. Finally, the supply chain and marketing teams manage field communication, making sure that all stakeholders, including customers and partners, are kept informed. Connecting all these roles, it's clear that a successful recall depends on a well-coordinated effort across multiple departments, all aligned with the overarching goal of protecting patients and maintaining trust. Let's walk through the key steps involved in recall execution. First, we need to block further distribution of the affected products. This involves placing an ERP hold and quarantining items in the warehouse to prevent any accidental shipments. Next, we must notify all relevant stakeholders, which could include sending letters, emails, or even issuing press releases, depending on the risk class of the product involved. Clear communication is crucial here. Then, we conduct a traceability check by reviewing batch records and dispatch details to identify where the product has gone and who might be affected. If there's a return request from the market, we log the quantities being returned to keep track of the situation. It's also important to verify the effectiveness of our communication and response efforts, making sure that everyone is on the same page and that actions are being carried out properly. We need to maintain secure storage of the returned goods to prevent any further issues. Finally, an investigation should follow, looking into the root cause of the problem, identifying any deviations, and assessing potential cross-impacts to avoid similar issues in the future. All these steps are critical to managing a recall effectively, ensuring safety, compliance, and maintaining trust. Now, let's talk about the communication requirements during a market recall. It's crucial to provide a clear recall notice that includes key product details such as batch number, expiry date, strength, and packaging information. This helps all stakeholders quickly identify the affected products. Next, the notice must explain the reason for the recall, so everyone understands why this action is happening. A risk summary is also essential. It highlights the potential dangers or health risks associated with the product, emphasizing the importance of swift action. Additionally, the notice should contain specific instructions for customers and distributors, what they need to do next to ensure safety and compliance. For Class I recalls, which are the most serious, public announcements are necessary. This might include press releases or communication through authority channels to reach a broad audience. And finally, I can't stress enough that all communication must be approved by the QA and regulatory teams before release. This ensures accuracy, consistency, and compliance with regulatory standards. Overall, these requirements help us manage recalls effectively, protect consumers, and maintain trust in our products. Now, let's take a closer look at comparing distributed versus returned quantities. This step helps us identify where discrepancies might be occurring in the supply chain. We need to investigate potential gaps, such as non-responsive customers who may not be providing feedback or data, and outstanding stock that remains in the supply chain without being accounted for. To effectively evaluate our efforts, we use a system of levels, labeled A through E, which reflect the recall depth. Level A involves the patient or consumer, the end user of the product. Level B focuses on retail or pharmacy outlets, where products are directly accessible. Level C covers wholesale distributors, the intermediaries who distribute to retail outlets. Level D is about distributors, the entities managing bulk supply, and Level E pertains to the manufacturer, the source of production. It's crucial to report the findings from these effectiveness checks to regulatory authorities to ensure compliance and transparency. This process involves reconciliation, matching what was distributed with what was returned or accounted for, and conducting an effectiveness check to pinpoint where in the chain the gaps are occurring. By doing this systematically, we can improve our overall supply chain integrity and ensure the safety and availability of products at every level. Now, as we approach the final stage of the recall process, let's talk about the closure of the recall and documentation. First, we need to prepare the final recall report. This report should include a thorough root cause analysis to understand exactly what led to the issue in the first place. Additionally, we must document the CAPA, or corrective and preventive actions, that we implemented to address the root cause. It's also important to reconcile the returned quantity, ensuring all recalled goods are accounted for. Disposing of the recalled products must follow proper procedures to prevent any further issues. We then review the effectiveness of our actions through check results, confirming that the corrective measures have worked. Once everything is in order, we submit this closure report to the regulatory authority for their review and approval. After that, we update all relevant SOPs, training records, and QMS documents to reflect any changes made during the recall. Finally, we need to implement long-term CAPA verification to prevent the recurrence of similar issues in the future. This comprehensive closure process ensures that we not only resolve the immediate problem, but also strengthen our quality management system for the long term. Let's review some key takeaways. First, recalls must be swift, controlled, and traceable. This means that when a product issue arises, we need to act quickly, manage the process carefully, and ensure everything is documented so we can track every step. Regulatory bodies expect us to conduct risk-based evaluations and take immediate action when necessary. This highlights the importance of being proactive and ready to respond effectively. Having a strong quality management system, or QMS, along with thorough documentation and traceability of distribution, is essential. These elements help us stay organized and compliant, making sure we can identify where products are and how they've been handled. Market complaints should never be overlooked. They must be investigated promptly. Addressing concerns early can prevent escalation into bigger problems, protecting both patients and our reputation. Finally, a well-prepared recall system isn't just about compliance. It's about safeguarding patients, maintaining trust, and protecting our brand's integrity. When we integrate these principles into our daily operations, we reinforce our commitment to safety and excellence throughout the entire product lifecycle. Let's take a moment to review some key regulatory references that guide our recall processes. First, we have the U.S. FDA regulations, specifically 21 CFR 7, 210, and 211, which provide comprehensive recall guidelines to ensure patient safety and product integrity. Moving over to Europe, the EU GMP Part I, Chapter 8, covers complaints and product recall procedures, emphasizing the importance of prompt and effective responses. The World Health Organization, through TRS 996 Annex 3, offers good practices for distribution and recall, highlighting international standards and cooperation. Additionally, the ICH Q10 guideline outlines the pharmaceutical quality system, which underscores the importance of integrated quality management throughout the product lifecycle. Now, an industry principle that ties all these references together is that the manufacturer holds full responsibility for making timely recall decisions and executing them effectively. This means that, regardless of the regulatory framework, the ultimate accountability rests with us as manufacturers to act swiftly to protect patients and maintain trust. Connecting this to our overall theme, it's clear that understanding and adhering to these regulatory references is crucial for a robust recall system. It reinforces our commitment to quality, safety, and regulatory compliance, ensuring we are prepared to respond appropriately whenever necessary. For further support, please contact us. We're here to help you with any questions or additional information you might need. Don't hesitate to reach out. Your success is our priority. Thank you so much for your time and attention today.